Hello everyone, welcome to MeroSiksha. I'm Vivechana Sharma and I'm here with another content entitled Prepositions and Prepositional Phrases. So, what is preposition? What is the first thing that comes up to your mind when you are asked about the ideas regarding what preposition is? So, let us find out what exactly preposition is and what are the uses of it. So talking about the preposition, they are a short word that are written in a sentence, or you can say that are employed in a sentences in order to show relationship with either nouns, pronouns, or the other phrases that are present in our sentences. So prepositions are all about a short word that are used in a sentences in order to show relationship with either noun, pronouns, or the phrases, and then they are normally found positioned before a noun or a pronoun. So the prepositions we found preposition placed before a noun or either a pronoun. So we can consider preposition as a word or a group of words. So talking about a group of words, we are indicating it to the idea of prepositional phrases that are used before either noun or a pronoun, or you can see before the noun phrases, in order to show the direction or time or a place, location, or the spatial relation, or to introduce an object. So in order to understand preposition in a simpler term, you can go with this particular idea as well. So they are commonly used when we are having conversation in English. So although there are some of the rules that we have to abide by in order to use it accordingly or appropriately. For example, so I love your house by the river. So here I have used the preposition by in order to indicate that I'm talking about this. I is talking about the house that is near to the river. In the same way, here I have used the preposition with. So he is a tall boy with long brown hair. So here we are referring to talking with the use of this with, we are connecting the idea of this tall boy having a brown hair. So similarly, we have another sentence, and I have used here since in order to talk about or show the idea of the time period 2002. So Namrata visited Lumbini since 2002. So moving on to the next idea, let us find out how this preposition works. So preposition plays they have very vital functions when they are used in the sentences. Even though like they have some of the prepositional uses have fixed expressions, there are some of the rules that we are to be very watchful about whenever we are talking about the preposition. So let us find out what are the uses of preposition. So we use preposition in order to talk about the direction of something. For example, if you are to say that if you are to indicate the location, if you are to talk about the in place. For example, if I say Ram lives in Kirtipur, then what I am here emphasizing about, I'm talking about the place, I'm talking about the location, that this Ram lives in Kirtipur. I'm covering the general area. So similarly, the preposition also refer to the time of something happening. So it also refers to the time of something happening. If I say I reach office today at 9, then what I'm talking about, I'm talking that I appeared or I reached to my location, that is my destination, which is office, at 9 today. Similarly, we also use preposition to denote the position or location of an object. If we are to talk about where we have kept the object, for instance, we can say the book is on the table. So what are we talking about? We are talking about the object book that is on the table, we are denoting the position or the location where the book is. Similarly, we also use preposition in order to represent spatial relationships. In order to represent spatial relationship as well, we use preposition. So talking about the spatial relationship, you can understand it with the idea of this. That is, if we ought, when we ought to show the relation of an object, where the object is in relation to another object, then we are talking about the spatial relationship. For example, if we say that the box is under the table, so what are we talking about over here? We are talking about the box, and we are indicating the object box, and that particular object box is connected to the table. We are talking about the presence of the object under the table. So spatial relationships talks explains where one object is in relation to the other. So the idea like between, within, or beneath falls under the preposition that represents spatial relationships. So moving on to the next idea, let us find out where do we use this at, on, and in. So we use at whenever we are to talk about the time, age, speed, or the temperature, but these all ideas must have specific information. For example, if I say water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, then I am being quite specific about its boiling temperature. So if you are talking about something specific, then you will be using at. So for example, she was married at the age of 20. I am talking about the age when she got married, and at which as she got married, it's 20. I am being quite specific about this idea. Science and technology has developed at a great pace. So I am also talking about the speed that the science and technology has been taking or has taken to reach to a particular progressive state. Similarly, we use the preposition on when we all talk about days, dates, or the month. But here we are not very specific. We are specific, but we are less specific than that of the at. For example, if I say on November 2, we will start our new semester. I am being specific, but still I am not much specific, as if I had also included here dates, year as well, then or the time period, then I would have been much specific. So it also covers the specific idea, but the specific is specific, but not as specific as the role of the at is. Similarly, we use in order to talk about the year, month, season, morning, afternoon, and the evening, or an hour as well. So if we are to cover the general idea, then we'll be using in. For example, I passed MBBS in 1997. I am covering the general time period or the larger space of the time period. So now let us find out the rules, or this is something we use in, on, at, not only to talk about the place, but also refer to the idea of time as well. So these three are such a words that makes the confusion, because until and unless you have a clear idea when to use this. So here this in, when we use in, so we use in when we are to show general location. If you are talking about the general location, or if you are talking about the covering, if you are covering the larger area, then we are supposed to use in. For example, I live in India. So India here, why we have in before India? Because India is indicating to a place, or it's a connecting to the it is talking about the country, or it is talking about the larger area. For example, moving on to the next as well, we will be staying in the hotel tonight. So we have just mentioned that we are staying in a hotel. We are not providing the specific idea. We are just we are providing the general idea over here. Similarly, talking about the on. So we use this to refer more specific location, more specific in comparison to that of these general locations. We are not very specific, more specific in relation to the general locations. For example, if you are to talk about the streets, we are talking about avenues or the islands or the surfaces and the large vehicles, we use on. For example, Lata stays on the 4th floor. So we for example, we are here indicating that this also indicates that C is staying to some building which is quite tall, and then she is staying on the 4th floor. We are being more specific regarding the location. Similarly, we use at when we are to refer to the very specific location. For example, you can find us at the park. This is very specific. At the park covers quite a short area, and then here we are talking about the location that's very much we are being very specific. Or you can also understand the use of this with the presentation of the triangle. Divide this into 3 parts, and then this we use in, on, and at. If we are covering the large area is covered, then we use in. If we are to cover the areas but quite specific areas, specific in comparison to this general areas, then we use on. But if we are to talk about specific, very specific, that is very close, then we use and. If you are talking about the smaller area, we will be using. If you are talking about the more minute detail, then we will be using at. If you are talking about the situation in between, then on, and larger, then we will be using in. Now let us move to the another uses, that is preposition of time. When are to we use this in, on, and at whenever we are referring to the time? So here as well we can understand this with the triangle itself. Let us divide into 3 parts, and in is covering the general one, on is covering the more specific than that of the in, and at we are being very specific. So in is used to depict general timing like months, years, or the centuries, parts of the days. Then we use in. For example, you should finish your test in next 30 minutes. We are indicating to the idea of the timing. We are not being exactly specific. We are just talking about the general time. Just by 30 minutes you are to solve your problems. Similarly, this on we used to talk when you are to refer the dates or the days of the week or days of the months and the holidays with the day. If we have the holidays which has the word day connected to it, we use on. That is, for example, Republic Day. So we have holiday on Republic Day. So we use on whenever we are to talk about timing before days or the dates of the week, or the days of the month, or the holidays with days. So moving on, we use at when we denote very specific time, that is time of the days, at what time, or talking about the holidays but without day. For, as I already mentioned before, if I say my class starts at 9 o'clock, I am being very specific on the beginning of my class, or that is how it is mentioned. Now let us talk about the idea by and with. So we use this by and with in 2 different ways. That is, we use by when you are to talk about something that is near or near to. For example, if I say, if this here the speaker I is talking about the idea that this I loves the house that is by the river. So it is talking about the house that is near to the river area. So when we are to refer to the location that is near to something, then we are using by. Similarly, we use by also as a preposition in a time, when we are talking about the time idea of the time period, then we a given time or not later than. If you are indicating to the idea that asking people not to be late than that specific this particular time, we use preposition by. For example, see that you reach the exam hall by 8:30 a.m. So here we are asking the listener not to be late by the given time. Similarly, we use with whenever we are talking about relating it with something in the company of. For example, he is a tall boy with a long brown hair. So we are indicating the idea that this person is a long boy. And how is this long boy? This long boy has a long brown hair, and we are indicating the preposition with. So whenever we use the preposition with, we also use it with the idea of in addition to. If you are talking about something, relating it to, connecting it to the idea of something else, then we use with. So for example, would you like to have tea with breakfast? So relation, if you are to build relation between two different things. Similarly, we also use into and onto. This is also something that's quite confusing. We use both of the things whenever we are talking about the location. We are talking about the ideas that is confined within the location, and we use into in order to indicate movement towards the inside or the interior of something. So if we are talking about the movement of something that gets inside or that is confined within the four walls, that has the four spaces, then we will be using into. For example, she dived into the water, or he threw the letter into the fire. Something has gone interior to it. Something must get inside it. Then it is into. And talking about the onto, we will be using onto when we are to express the movements towards a surface. If you are talking about the movement of something towards the surface area, then we use onto. That is, the cat jumped onto the table, because the cat is still in the surface area of a table. It does not get inside the table, right? So she placed the books onto the shelf. So let us move to the another idea, that's a prepositional phrase. And then this, what is prepositional phrase then? So now we already know what preposition is. Then preposition is all about the words, is a short word that is used to show relation. And now talking about the prepositional phrase, it is consists of the preposition and the words which is followed by a complement. Here, along with the preposition, we have the words that is complement to it, that is followed by a complement. And this prepositional phrase always contains two words or two or more, at least two words or more than two words as well. And we have here preposition and an object, and this object or this complement can either be a noun or a pronoun, or the phrase can also contain modifiers and adjectives. So we have, in a prepositional phrase, we have preposition and the word that is followed by it. We either call that as a complement, or we can either call it as an object, or we can either call it, or we can either understand it a way that along with the preposition we have object, and that object connects the idea of noun or the pronoun or the phrase. And sometimes we may also have these adjectives as a modifier as well. So for example, here these are the prepositional phrases like interested in, on a diet, out of their hand, and we use this in order to make our sentence much more clear and to pass the proper meaning. For example, the consort went out of their hand. This is indicating to the idea that the consort went out of control, right? So, and then they had to call the police to take control of the situation. So preposition is all about, prepositional phrase is all about the combination of the preposition along with the either noun or a pronoun or the adjective. Okay, that is how it works. So similarly, would you like to make a payment in cash or by a check? So here this in cash is the prepositional phrase, and it includes the preposition and then the noun, that is cash. So I hope I made you guys clear regarding the preposition and the prepositional phrase.